Hi, this video is going to be about resources where I have been looking to find information on records, land grants, and all the things. So I've made a Google document and can share it on the video. And it has the following information. This is the OHA Kipuka database. And then here is the Ulukau. And this Waihona Aina is where I've been able to find land use, record archives, legal documents, royal patents, land grants, boundary commissions, and Mahele records. So I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. It is right here. So this is the Waihona Aina. And you can go and let's see, how do I put this? You can go into the search button. There's Mahele records, boundary commissions, land grants, royal patents, and database indexes. I have, you can see here claimants, ownerships, grantees, and patents. How do you say that? It's interesting to note is there will be people that are wanting to claim land, and it will say no if they didn't get it and granted if they will, which is crazy to me that they didn't get granted land and like who decided. And that's, kind of crazy that some people would not get accepted, especially if they had said that they were on the land and they were given the land. So you can see grantee as well. There's a lot of Haole names. What kind of names are, it's interesting to look at who was actually given land grants. A lot of missionaries, Andrews, a lot of the missionaries, merchants. So we need to use these records, and you could just go through this, take a few months and just play around with it. But what I like to do right now is really look at focusing in on the islands. So you could go if you want to look in your area on Oahu, but if you know the family's from Maui, then I like to go into the Maui. There's 6,000 records on Maui. And also you can see there's also Maui, Hawaii, Lanai. So, make sure you look through everything because sometimes there's different islands connected together. And then you can look at the districts. So if you're looking at Lahaina, but there also was other names that were in Lahaina. Like I know, let's see. And you can see they list them when you go into the land grant. So if you don't really know which district, it will tell you. But if you look at Waine'e, there's 33, and that is in the Ahupua'a. And then in the Ili, let's see if there's even, further jurisdiction names. So, see, you can see why, and so let's go into Waine'e. There's 33. Okay, so there's Lunalino, who has the Mahele database. Ulumaihehe, we do know those two names. And let's see if we can spot any other name that's standing out. So then let's just go into Ulumahehe, who I believe is Ho'opili. Let's see, I think you click on the Yes, so here it is. So this is the claim number, the claimant, Island District, Ahupua'a Waine'e. And it says no, they were not awarded. Now, Ulu Mahehe is Ho'opili, who was King Kamehameha's right-hand man, who also hid his bones and was Keupolani's husband and the governor of Maui. So he was not awarded this, which was really interesting. There's notes, and he says, I am petitioning you about my land at Waine'e, Maui, the place where Ho'opili Wahine's stone house stands. So Ho'opili Wahine is, I believe, Kalakaua, Kahehe, and they say, I am petitioning this because I was not informed of the administrators of the estate, so I thought perhaps I might lose the land if I did not tell you, since it was said in the Ele, which might have been a newspaper, that if the land was not claimed within 2 years, it would go to the government. So this is a problem because, this is what was happening back in those days, is these quiet, change of hands. If you're not up on what's happening, if you're not reading the papers, because everyone needs to be vigilant right now, especially in terms of land, with the laws that are anti-protection. Well, not the law, but it's a proclamation by the governor right now, and if they can do that, they can do anything. And so being vigilant and researching for your friends, for your family, anybody that just getting this information and arming our people with the Ike is what I was told by the Burial Council. I had a conversation with them yesterday, specifically they were on Maui, and they said we need to arm our people with Ike. So these are why I'm making these videos. So please help people get this information out. So to continue with Ho'opili's or Ulu Maihehe's claim is, this land, which I have not heard of from the administrators, is my own from my Makua Kane. And he was the subject of the Li'i, and also I'm a subject of the Moi. And Ho'opili Kane was below me, and when he sickened and died, it was returned to me, and it is under me at this time. When Ho'opili, at the land of this person here, which was under the king, that was the bequest, I heard it only recently that he is destitute today. I have seen work done on these lots, Malka, of this person's property. It was Ho'opili who motivated the children to set apart a food garden and planting area. A fence was put up because the animals ate the plants. I have known that Ho'opili had consented to the building of the fence because he had coconuts and mahaha taro there. So law number 61 from Ulu Maihehe says, I know that when we came to live on Maui here, Kaya Ko'ili returned the land to this person. Kaya Ko'ili had received it from the king. This person here is a daughter to Kaya Ko'ili, but Ho'opili had custody of that land. When they turned to Hawaii, was under Moi and Ho'opili Wahine. And this says it's not awarded. So I just cannot believe that something like that would not be awarded by somebody that is so connected to, like he explained, the king, all of these things. So very interesting. And you can also, as you see, you can go and look under, I think when we went under that specific area, you could look under names of who was awarded. So let's go back under, was it Waine'e? Or Wai'ehu. Let's go to Wai'ehu, since that sounds familiar, because I believe Kalani Ali'i was from there. So let's see if we can find her name. We're doing this in real time. Or her husband. So it's good to have a lot of the names written down while you're watching this, because then you can search through the 100 records and see if someone's name comes up. Lua'ehu, that's a name I recognize as the law. let's look at the other one. So you don't have to pay for it to look at it. I think you have to pay for it when you want to keep it, but you can always just highlight this magnifying glass and then cut and copy or copy the photo and then put it in your files. But everybody that you know, especially from Maui, should, get these information and guard people with the ike. So I'm not seeing anything that I recognize right now. Oh, I do actually, right when I said that. So this name was Kalani Ali'i's husband. Let me just finish scrolling down. Okay, we're done with all the records, I think. Oh no, we have one more page. So let's go look through this last page if we see anybody that we recognize. There's Kapula again. Or was that? I guess this might be the same page. Let me just go here. Let's click here. And let's click the magnifying glass. So this is the Mahele database. Let's see what it says. So Kapula, he's in Wailuku district, Ahupua'a of Wai'ehu, and the Ili of these Ilis. He was not awarded. Wow. What a disappointment. So this is what he said. Greetings to the Honorable Land Commissioners. The Ele has told us to state our claims to the land commissioners to our land. Lo'i Kula and house lot. So we had a Lo'i. The land is Omau in Wai'ehu. My land was from Kali'ula, a total of 42 Lo'i. This is my claim for land. So he talks about the Lo'i and the plants. And this was his signature on December 24th, 1847. So he was sworn that the claimant's land consists of 6 pieces. There's a kalo and land number 2, the kalo lands in Pi'ilani, and the claimant received numbers 1 and 3 from Ele in the days of Kamehameha II. Number 2 was from Kahiawa at the same time in 1845, and from Ele in the days of Kamehameha II. And it looks like number 5 was from, I don't know if that's Nahi, was that Nahi Ana or was that Nahi? Yeah, I don't know what that name is, but it could have been a name for Nahi Ana because that was the same time frame. So it looks like he's saying that these lands are from Kamehameha II, which would have been also Nahi Ana, who we know that Kalani Ali'i lived with. So, and this was her husband. So this is another piece of information that solidifies the connection between them. So let's see, Kamehameha II, he was getting this land from, and the tarot, and he lists all of the Konahikis and the tarot land at Pi'ilani and the name of the people whose land it was. This is really a lot of information on people's land, and the fish pond. And wow, this is a lot of information on the names of the people's lands. And so it says that I guess he was not awarded this, which is incredible. I'm going to save this document. I'll show you how I do it. So I have a file, and then I'm just, well, it's a page, but if I can, actually what I'm going to do is I video web capture. So I capture the full page, and then it comes like that. And then I go up here and I save it. there's a save button. And then I save it to my file so that I don't have to purchase it. And save as. And this is now a JPEG. So I can write whose it is. It's Capola Land Grant. That way you can keep all of these documents for further sharing. So that was from the Mahele, and I'm not sure what date it was, but, and then here is, you know, when you see something looks similar, like Kame, you know, Kame, I don't know. You can click on that and just see, like, maybe they had the name spelled wrong, but anything that looks at all familiar, just click on it, and you never know what it brings up. It could bring up some, you know, information about a neighbor that you didn't know about. So here's his name again. So we're gonna click on this. Oh, let me click on the, okay, let's see if this is a different, this looks like it might be the same, in just a different area. So yeah, this looks, I think it might be the same number, but just keep checking the numbers. 70, yeah, I guess we are at the end. So this is an example where you can just go, and then you can look here where it says, here's the claimants. So you can look at names, you know, there's a lot more Hawaiian names here. So you have to go into like where you're going to look in the Ahupua'a, say for Waiahu. And then you can look down at the bottom where it says the claimants. There were 7,400 claimants. And these are the people that are claiming that they have land. Now, whether they were given ownership and they were granted is a different story, but it's interesting to see if you recognize any names. So I'll just quickly go through and see if I see any Kalani Ali'i. There's a lot of names. And honestly, you know, you could look up for friends if they give you their grandpa's name. It's, let's see, well, there's a lot of names. Kalani, let's see if her name's here. And sometimes the women's names aren't there. So you have to find their husband or their father. Unfortunately, we just have to look all around in different ways. A lot of names here. KH. Well, we can look up Kahehe. I don't see any Kahehes. Let's still look and see Kalani Ali'i. Okay. Don't see any. I don't see any that I recognize. So, but you can look over in the ownerships land, people who they, so you can go directly to someone that you know. Sure looks like a lot of Hollies in there. Grantees looks also like a lot of Hollies. You scroll down to, let's just look at if anyone we know or look, it looks familiar. Kalani David, Kalani Zakua, Kahele. You know, if this could be something to check, Kalani, they could have spelled it wrong. So we could look into that. Want to just, yeah, let's take a look in that because I don't see anything else. Let's just go in here. This looks really similar. but oh, it's in Kohala. So let's look at another one. This is the grantee. They got 412 acres in Kohala, and it was canceled, and it was called false. Wow. Let's see. Well, it was in Hawaiian. And it looks like they weren't given it because somebody claimed it was false. Now, who that person was, no idea, but I don't think that sounds pretty fair because if they're Hawaiian, then it's theirs. Patentees. So you can see how you can get really deep in all of this, but you can search by islands, districts, Ahupua'a, Iwi. So that is a really good area to check. And then I'm going to go into, this is under family search, which I have been going in a lot this week. And I found some more land information. So if you go under the search, you go under this catalog, and then United States under Hawaii, and then archives and libraries. So it lists by the bibliography, the consensus, church directories, church history. You can see there's 25 different, I guess, sites. I went through the genealogy area, which was really interesting. So here's the land and property indexes. So I got a lot of information from Hawaii Grantor and Grantee Index. This is from 1845 to 1909. So now I'm going to go into this Hawaii Register of Bureau of Conveniences, deed records, collection record. So I'm already in here, and this is what it looks like. And wow, interesting. I found an ancestor's name, Lucy N. Kamau, which was Navai Kamau. So there's also William, which was her husband. And these grantee names were his daughters. So I am going to increase the page so you can see it. This was Island of Hawaii, and you can see, look at like what it really looked like. Here's Kamau, all of these right here. So here's Lucy Navai, and I guess the person who, I'm not sure if that means she's giving it to these people, but that's something I'm trying to look into. And then here's the dates of when this transaction happened, which looks like in 1895, 97. And this talks about like where you can get more information, the page numbers, and then like more information. Here is the place, which is in Hilo. So I am going to attach this to our record. So you just pressed attach, and then it goes to, so you can go when you get on this site, all these land grants will be listed under Lucy Kamau. So I've been adding as many as I can see because she seems to have a few of these. And I also found it for Granny's mother, Lucy Calais. So you can also go and do a lot of this searching. There's so much you can do that you kind of have to take a break sometimes because it can be like an all encompassing experience. So if you can see, Lucy Kamau has a lot, which is great. I am going to just keep adding her. Actually, I'm going to go under this attachment on Kamau Grantee's name. I don't know who that is, but the lot. So you can just, if you don't know who the word, you can just write Kamau. I'm going to list it, I guess, just, I think I'm going to, Lucy. No. Oh. Come on. I'll put it under William. Just so that, oh yeah, we gotta attach it. So when you, but we don't want it for the second wife, we want it for Lucy. So I'm just gonna go through and attach these so that we can have them for future information. And then how this works. So let's go back under, there's one in Waiakea is the lot, and I still want to understand if she's granting this to someone else and this was her land, or what is the story. But I'm going to select this, attach it, and keep going on. So we can find more. I think this is like a really good practice to do. These people they're gifting it to, who are they? And then later on, if you want to look into that, that's something you can do later. But as long as we're attaching it, it will all be there. So you can, and see it says who's on the record. We don't know who this is, but we can look into who she is and what they've done with the land. Maybe they have like hotels on it right now. It's good to do that research because so someone can take that on and say, okay, where are the boundaries and where are the names of these spaces? And how do we get it back? No, just kidding. Actually, I'm not just kidding. So that was a little detail on how I found the land assessment, and these look like they were awarded. And so we're going back into, so if you look into the land assessment, this is what the actual like record looks like. And then I've attached it to Reverend Kamal's tree. So it's always going to be there. So here's what it looks like when you look up the ancestor information. You can put the names right here. I tested, I put it in the first name box and the last name, and then I always put Hawaii, and then you put search there. But this is what came up when I did Kamal. So here's all of the land assessments that were listed. So you can imagine there's a lot of land attached to this name, which there's so much to look at. And it's something that, you know, I'm going to try and connect to. Let's just look at the last one. Now that's Kamawa. Let's look at April 25th, 1870. Let's see what this says. Grantee's name, Hakalu. Not sure who this is, but let's attach it to the family tree because it is the last name. And since we'll just put it to Reverend William. And then you attach. Okay, so that was a little lesson for now. I'll just show you how I go, and I'll put in a different name, but I think Kamau is probably the easiest name right now because there's a lot that comes up under it. But let's just do Kaho'opi'i. K-O-P-P-I. And I just put a place Hawaii, but you could say Maui. So here's some, I like to go to the earliest one, Ho'opi'i, and see if you recognize anybody's name first. Ho'opi'i. Right, to find somebody that we recognize. 1880. There's nobody that I recognize yet, but I think going in all of these records is what you have to do. But first I just kind of scroll and look at dates, and then I go back. But you can see how this could take a long time, just going in all of the records and then attaching whether they got the grant or not. Just put it in. I'm gonna go in here and just look at who H. Kahopee is. Never heard of this person. So there's a lot of Kaho'ope'is and Ho'ope'is. So unless I know the name specifically, then I'm not going to attach it because there are so many names. But in an instance where there was like one or two names, like the Capola, you want to attach it because there's not that many names there. So there's 34 records here. Let's see if we know anybody. Okay, Aloha H. I mean, here we go. We recognize this person. This is Lucy K. or James K. October 15th, 1917. So as we know, this is Lucy Calais Kaho'ope'i and her husband, James. So grantee's name, and this is the lot at Kama'ili. So let's look and see what this is. For sure, we want to attach just this to the family tree because this shows specific grant. Let's see if we can read anything about it. So when you go down here, you can see different names on the whole paper because it's hard to read sometimes on the original document, and this lists them out underneath. And so you can search these two areas for names that look familiar. And okay, so let's go back up and come on, I don't know, this looks like you could look into that. This name looks familiar. I'm not sure why, but so let's go into here and let's attach because we know who these people are. William Kamau was Lucy Calais's dad. So remember in the beginning, William Kamau never acknowledged Lucy K as part of his daughter. So what we did here was just proved another touch point of yes, they are connected. They're giving land to each other, obviously. So I want to put Lucy Calais. I don't know why she's not coming up. I don't want to attach this to anybody else, but it's not coming up. So, but what we just did there was really interesting because we just put another touch point of how they actually were connected. So I don't see how, let's look at possible matches. So let's go back to Lucy Calais. See if we can find her history list. I don't see it. Let's go under Lucy. Possible matches. Well, she isn't listed. So let's see. I guess I'm going to have to put it under her mom, even though it is Lucy. I don't want to attach it to the wrong person. Lucy Novi. Oh, now it's not even working at all. So history list, let's look and see, there she is. Let's just put her, even though I wanted her daughter. So I would like to look more into this to see why was Lucy K giving land to her father or James Kaho'ope'i. So we should look into that. That is very interesting. So I'm going to try and go back into that document and see if I can read anything else from the original document. So I'm going to zoom in and you see on the left side. Make sure you look at both of these areas. So Kamaunu gifted to the Union Mill Company. So that sounded familiar. I thought that Kamau owned a mill, a sugar mill or something. So I don't know if that's part of his family or not, but I'm looking here on the left side. So here is, I'll increase it. Here is Kaho'opi'i, Lucy K, and husband. And then there's James K and wife. And then this, let's look at what it says on the very top. Grantee. So grantor and grantee. So it looks like they had land and they were giving it to her father on September 27th, 1917 for $300. And it was a quarter at Kamali'i in Puna. So these tell you, I guess, where they are. Let's see, what is our book, page, and date of record and number of award. So that's where you can find out what the book is 45, page 49, and that's how you find out that information. So, okay, this was fun. I'll finish in the next video.